Hi guys, Pete the Wargamer here, and in these times where a lot of us are suddenly finding ourselves with quite a bit extra time than normal, why not put that time to good use and run another Homebrew conversion competition. Now last time I focused on the Space Marines, but this time, as voted for by you guys, we'll be looking at the Imperial Guard, also known as the Astra Militarum, depending on when you started playing Warhammer 40k. Now last time I only had a single category, but this time I'll be running two. One for Traitors, as in anyone who's no longer loyal to the Imperium, and Loyalists, anyone who's still loyal to the Imperium. Now these guys, these Traitors, aren't necessarily chaos, they're just no longer loyal to the Imperium, so do with that information what you will. Now there are a few rules for this competition. First of all, the submissions. You need to send all of your submissions to petethewargamersubmissions at gmail.com, and that'll be on screen now and also in the description below. Also, to make life a little bit easier for myself, if you decide to submit two submissions for this, one for Loyalists and one for Traitors, that's fine, you're allowed to do that. You can do both or you can do either, it doesn't matter. But if you do decide to do both, then make sure that you include in the subject line either Traitor if you're doing Traitors or Loyalists if you're doing Loyalists. It just makes it a lot easier for me when I'm skimming through to sort them out and know exactly which one is for each category. Another thing about the rules, make sure that what you're doing is unique. I don't want to see regiments that are already in existing Black Library novels, existing Warhammer 40k games, or in the universe, or even just well-established fan chapters. I want to see entirely unique creations. That's not to say, though, if you have inspiration from another genre of sci-fi, fantasy, or even historical basis, that's fine, go crazy. Take as much inspiration from those as you wish. Just no plagiarism, please. So another word about the submissions themselves. Now, a lot of these often end up being quite long because you guys have crazy imaginations and you fill out all this information and there's pages and pages of information. That's great. I do try to read through all of them, but just to make it a little bit easier for me when I'm going back through submissions, to kind of include a synopsis at the top would be really helpful. Just a brief kind of summary of who they are, just so I can kind of familiarize myself with them very quickly when I'm going back through them and I can remember who they are. And it just makes it a lot easier when I'm going through that deliberation at the end. Another thing, if you have any ideas of how you want the aesthetics to appear, then it's always useful to have some art, drawings, sketches. They can be as good or bad as you want, just something that kind of gives me a little bit of a way to kind of visualize what you guys are thinking, what you guys are trying to get across. Especially for historical stuff, pictures are really useful, and it just gives me an idea, kind of a springboard to go from when I'm working on a model. Along the same vein, also make sure that your submissions are realistic. Now when I say realistic, I mean actually feasible to create a conversion for. If your model is made up of just giant Titan guns with legs, then that's great and all, but it doesn't really fit into the theme of the universe, and also means I've got to go and buy an £80 Titan weapon from Forge World and stick some Necron legs to it. That's just not going to work. So make sure that it's both realistic in the sense of the Warhammer 40k universe, which is kind of broad anyway, but also make sure that I've actually got a chance of being able to convert it. That'll make your conversion submission to be a lot more likely to actually be picked. So the deadline for this competition is the 12th of April, which is coincidentally Easter Sunday. Now all submissions should be submitted by 12 PM GMT +1 because we're all BST. Time zones confuse me. I think it'll be BST by then. So make sure it's in by midnight. If it's a little bit over, I won't mind. Just nothing past the 12th of April, please. I will then be choosing a winner from each category, and the winner will receive a conversion video of their chapter, and you will also receive the miniature which is produced as a result of that video. So just to clarify, all submissions should be made to petethewargamersubmissions at gmail.com. You should have whether or not a Traitor or Loyalist in the subject line, and you should keep your submissions separate. So keep your Loyalist submission separate from your Traitor submissions. And also remember to have fun. It's amazing the level of creativity that was demonstrated in the previous competition, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that kind of creativity show itself through once again. So take your time, you've got a couple of weeks, and I really look forward to seeing what you guys produce. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.